David Martinez adjusted his collar nervously as he stood outside the atmospheric dome of New Geneva Station, waiting for his date to arrive. 3 months of careful correspondence through the Galactic Cultural Exchange Program had led to this moment, his first date with an extraterrestrial being. Zoe was a Corellian, from the oceanic world of Kerala Prime, and according to her bio, she was fascinated by human culture. The airlock hissed open and David's breath caught. Zoe emerged gracefully, her iridescent blue-green skin shimmering under the station's artificial lighting. She stood nearly 7 feet tall with 4 arms that moved in fluid, hypnotic patterns. Her large, dark eyes, easily 3 times the size of human eyes, fixed on him with what he hoped was friendly interest. "David Human," she said in her melodic voice, the universal translator rendering her words in perfect English with only a slight harmonic undertone. "You appear smaller than your holographic representation suggested." Thanks," David replied, unsure if that was a compliment. "You look exactly like your photos, beautiful." Zoe's skin rippled with what David had learned was the Corellian equivalent of a blush, waves of deeper blue cascading across her form. "Your compliment words trigger pleasant biochemical responses in my system," David grinned. "Maybe this wouldn't be so awkward after all." He gestured toward the station's promenade. "I made reservations at Cosmos, that fusion restaurant I mentioned. They specialize in dishes from across the galaxy." As they walked, David noticed other beings giving them curious looks. A group of crystalline Xantharians chimed softly among themselves, while a hulking Thurian family pointed with what David hoped was amusement rather than disgust. Interspecies dating was still relatively new, even on cosmopolitan stations like New Geneva. "Tell me, David Human," Zoe said, her upper pair of arms gesturing while her lower pair remained clasped behind her back. "What significance does this shared consumption ritual hold in human mating practices?" David nearly tripped over his own feet. Mating practices? "Oh, no, this is just dinner. Getting to know each other. Humans usually eat together as a social activity before anything else." Zoe's skin shifted to a puzzled pattern of swirling greens and blues. "But your correspondence indicated desire for romantic connection. In Corellian culture, shared consumption is the final step before reproductive bonding. Have I misunderstood the human courtship sequence?" David felt heat rising to his face. It's different for humans. We take things slower, much slower." The restaurant's host, a pleasant Altarian with 6 eyes, seated them at a table overlooking the nebula visible through the station's massive viewport. David ordered something safe: synthesized beef with Terran vegetables. Zoe requested a complex mixture of mineral supplements and what the menu delicately termed protein cultures. "Your species intrigues me greatly," Zoe said, using one arm to eat while another gestured expressively. "Humans are the only known species to develop space travel despite having only 2 arms, 2 legs, and remarkably limited sensory organs." "Limited?" David asked, slightly offended. "You cannot see ultraviolet or infrared spectrums. Your hearing range is narrow. You lack electromagnetic sensitivity entirely." Zoe tilted her head, studying him. "Yet humans have established colonies in 17 systems and created the most extensive trade networks in known space. How?" David considered this. "Maybe because we have to work harder? When you're born with advantages, you might not push yourself as much. Humans have always had to be creative, to adapt, to find ways around our limitations." "Fascinating." Zoe leaned forward, her 4 arms creating an intricate pattern. "Perhaps this is why human art resonates across so many species. Your music, your literature, they speak of struggle overcome, of beauty found despite hardship." The conversation flowed more easily after that. David found himself genuinely enjoying Zoe's company. She was brilliant, curious, and had a surprisingly sharp sense of humor. When she laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze, David felt something flutter in his chest. "I must confess something," Zoe said as they finished their meal. "I was apprehensive about meeting a human. My clutch siblings warned me that humans are primitive, violent beings. And what do you think now?" Zoe's skin displayed what David had learned was the Corellian pattern for deep contemplation. Slow, spiraling waves of silver and blue. "I think perhaps humans are not primitive, but concentrated, like a star that burns brighter because it is smaller, denser. Your emotions are intense. Your passions run deep. Your capacity for connection transcends biological compatibility. David felt his heart skip. Does that mean you'd like to see me again? Yes, Zoe replied without hesitation. Though perhaps next time you could explain more of your human customs beforehand. I brought traditional Corellian bonding gifts. She gestured to a small case beside her chair. What kind of gifts? Fertilized egg clusters and pheromone bonding oils. David choked on his drink. Okay, definitely need to work on our cultural exchange. As they walked back through the station, David realized something remarkable was happening. Other beings no longer stared with suspicion or curiosity. A young Thurian child waved at them. An elderly Xantharian chimed what sounded like approval. Even the usually stoic vegan traders nodded respectfully. They see us differently now, David observed. Yes, Zoe agreed. Perhaps they see that connection transcends form. That understanding can bridge any gap. She paused at the airlock leading to her transport. Humans have a gift, David Human. You make others believe that impossible things are possible. Like a human and a Corellian going on a second date, Zoe's skin rippled with laughter patterns. Precisely like that. As David watched her graceful form disappear into the airlock, he smiled. Maybe humans weren't the strongest or fastest or most advanced species in the galaxy, but they had something else. Hope, curiosity, and the stubborn belief that any barrier could be overcome with enough patience and understanding. His communicator chimed with a message from Zoe. Next time, perhaps we could try this movie experience you mentioned. Though I should warn you, Corellians consider shared visual entertainment to be quite intimate. David laughed, already looking forward to explaining human dating customs to the most fascinating being he'd ever met. In a galaxy full of wonders, perhaps the most wonderful thing of all was the possibility of connection across the vast differences that made each species unique. After all, that's what humans did best. They found a way.